of our Torah. In this week's Parsha, well, one of the most interesting things that most lawyers will tell you when you go over a contract, watch your P's and Q's. Right, David? But in Hebrew, that doesn't work because there are no P's and Q's in Hebrew. And by the way, this phrase, watch your P's and Q's, goes back to the days of what they call, in the early days of printing, when everything was put in backwards for the stories. Hot print set or something like that. And you had to be, and the P and the Q were, of course, would give yourself very confusing. In Israel, the way that lawyers tell you to basically watch your P's and Q's, the phrase is, make sure it's Rachel and not Leah. Okay, it's, that's staying in the details. Because Lavan he deceives Yaakov. He is a deceiver. That's what he does. But he doesn't lie. When Yaakov complained, hey, I agreed to work for Rachel. He said, did I say, I promised you my daughter? I didn't say which one. You assumed it was Rachel. You made an assumption. And as Yaakov learns, Lavan is a master of deception. And the mastery of it is he never lies. There's nothing that you can catch him on that's an actual lie. He just says, this is what you agreed to. And this is the contract you signed. And it turns out like, yep, I signed that contract. Sort of like there was a movie many years ago where a fellow is promising people, if you send me $1, I'll send you a portrait of Washington. And you know what the portrait was? It was a 1-cent stamp. So he was making 99 cents minus the shipping. And sometimes we put the stamp on the envelope, so it was canceled. But but it's a matter that he did not lie. There was a portrait of Washington on the 1-cent stamp. Now Yaakov did deceive his father with the whole blessings thing, as we saw last week, where Yitzhak thinks he's going to be blessing Esav, and Rivka has Yaakov deceive her Yitzhak. But basically, you're allowed to deceive somebody but not because you want to, and not for your personal gain. If someone comes up, if you're hiding somebody who is under threat of being executed, being murdered, you're allowed to deceive the murderer and say, oh, he's not here, when he's really there. This is permitted because you're saving a life. You're allowed, and even to the extent, by the way, you go to a wedding and the bride is absolutely ugly. I mean, we're talking ugliness on a level that's unbelievable. You say, oh, she's a beautiful bride, because you're not the one who's marrying her. To her groom, she should be beautiful. And that's all that really counts in that matter. But you're getting no personal gain from that. You're basically helping the community. You can deceive in order for clearly defined purposes, not because you want to make a profit and not just for fun. You can only deceive if, in the case of Yaakov deceiving Yitzhak, there's a clear and present danger of Esau getting those blessings. That was a deception that was necessary. And Yaakov actually didn't want the blessing. He tried to talk his mother out of the plan, and she said, no, I'll take the sin. Because she knew exactly who her sons were. Lavan, on the other hand, deceives for his own personal gain. He does nothing for anybody else. He doesn't care for anybody else. But again, he doesn't lie. He deceives through manipulation of language. And that's an important distinction, something to think about.